Hi everyone, Ryan Miles from Team Outer World here. I'm the world champion's brother, and here we have Aaron Miles, who is Nick Blanning's brother. And we're just going to be talking about the cards from Legacy of Lost and just kind of going over each and every card, talking about how we feel about it in the current metagame. And yeah, that's pretty much it. AJ, you have any introductory comments to say?
Yeah, one sec, mom's calling me.
All right,
Yeah, mom.
excellent. So we're going to go ahead and get started at least. So first up we
Dylan.
have
Oh, Ryan,
Amaterasu,
what's up,
or
buddy?
Amaterasu, one of those, the Guide of Light.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just I think it's too expensive because it's
All
a
right.
3 mana 8/8, and even though it
Let
does
me
have
in.
recurrence effects, so you keep getting card advantage. It's just too slow, really, to be playable in the current format. I think if the format does slow down, like in Lapis Cluster in the future, we might see play with this. But right now, it's just you can't pay that much mana for such a small body.
This card's booty cheeks.
That's a
Um,
good analysis. Anything else you want to say?
about Amaterasu, no.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Amaterasu's Foresight. If you've ever played Magic the Gathering, you'll remember a concept called Fog, and that's basically what this card is. It just stops all damage from being dealt and helps you protect your life total. I think this card is actually really good. I'm not sure what you would play it in right now, but it does open up a lot of possibilities in Forest of Will. I know when I used to be deck building, like back in last New Frontiers, I would always look for like a fog effect when I was trying to beat aggro. And now that we actually have one, I think it's very good, but aggro's kind of dead, so it's like an awkward timing, but I am glad that it exists.
Yeah, I'll get into this card more later when I get to the one ruler that I think I would play it in. But I'll get to that later because we'll probably spend more time on the rulers
What
than the
is
actual
that one
cards.
ruler, just out of curiosity?
Soul,
Okay. Beast of Holy Light. So this card has Inheritance, and
which
I
is a
think
really
it's
bad mechanic for the most part. There are a couple of, so the problem with inheritance in general is that if you're going to discard your card to do something as insignificant as buff a resonator, you need that card to be self-replacing. And there are a couple of the inheritance cards that are self-replacing. Like I think one or two of them say draw a card, the Feat Sing pulls a card out of your deck onto the field. This one does neither of those, and therefore it is an awful, awful, awful card.
you don't like it against Mikage since it has barrier from black and red.
This is a worst Magic Suites.
Good job. Next up, we have Lumia's Purification. And this card is really good value-wise, but it's just too slow.
It's
Again,
a lot of mana. It
yeah,
doesn't have quick cast.
that's a huge issue for me. Is not having quick cast. I don't want to like proactively remove your resonator so you can build up a board, and then I just like have to keep sorcery speed removing things.
Are there any remnant cards that are played that don't have quick cast? Has there ever been one?
I don't think so. Shadow. What's that Shadow Flame card? I think it is. It's like deal 5 to a resonator. It was
Yeah.
almost played like as a one of in when Alice Cluster first happened. That's the
Yeah.
only one I can think of that
I'm
was
gonna look
ever
up
played.
that card real quick.
I'm
Go
not.
ahead.
I'm just
Going.
gonna. So my main thing is this thing. Yeah, my main thing with this card is that in order to kill 2 resonators at sorcery speed, you need to pay 6 mana, and 4 of it needs to be white. Um, on the contrary, you can play Eternal Recurrence, which is 5 mana. Only 2 of it needs to be black, and it kills more than 2 resonators. So it's just like, yeah, the Remnant adds utility, but it's just like strictly bad in my opinion.
Yeah. If it had quick cast, it might be okay, but I still don't
Yeah.
think it'd be that great, to be honest.
Next up is Millium's Weapon. This card is garbage and literally unplayable, and don't put it in anything. I
Yeah.
think AJ, you said this is the worst card in the set. Was your
This is
opinion?
easily the worst. I think this is definitely the worst, in contention for the worst card in the set.
I don't know what the worst card in the set is. I haven't looked enough to figure that out. All right, next up is Snow White of the Crystal Apple. So the big problem with this card again is you're just looking at things that are way too slow. When you start getting up to enough mana where you would cast this card, you have to like compare it to things like Captain Hook, to things like Red Boy. Like you're just 4 mana for just a vanilla that can transfer stats is just kind of weak overall.
Yeah, and especially since it transfers stats for mana and only to other light resonators.
Yeah, like what other light resonators are good besides Wyvern? I guess like the whole fairy tale deck, right? But
I feel like in Mono White Fairy Tales, you're focused around Wendy and a bunch of low drops,
yeah, you're
and you're not
just
gonna like pay this for 4 mana and then like pay 5 mana, like 5 more mana to like buff your Wendy
yeah.
by 5.
Mono White Fairy Tales is like an aggro deck, so 4 mana to play a guy, and then yeah, it doesn't even buff itself like as you call stones. Like it enters based on how many stones you have. It gets that much. So that's yeah,
Yeah,
I don't like that at all. Next up, Spirit of Light. This card's bad.
yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, I don't think you played
It's
anything.
it's on par with the Millium card.
It's not even a fairy tale. Next up, Seven Dwarves. So this is like a really cool sticky resonator where it's kind of hard to remove, but it's so non-threatening that it's not an issue that you can't remove it easily. Any thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I don't really see how it's sticky. It
It's just
dies just like any other resonator.
no,
In fact, the damage is permanent to it and also affects its attack.
yeah, but I mean, like, I guess it's like you get to block with it 7 times and it never dies, right? Like, you actually have to use hard removal on this.
Oh, I thought any damage, like I thought if you were dealing 400 damage to this, it would remove 4 +1/+1
No, no, no,
counters.
no. It you
Okay.
just remove one, so
Oh, I
it's
read this
like
card a little wrong, but I still don't think it's very good.
yeah. I mean, like it again. It's got this cool little trick where you can just like have it as a blocker forever, just like keep
Oh, so
attacking.
there we go. One of my problems with this is that I think in stealth decks, separation of body and soul is about to come back in a big way.
Really
Yes.
interesting. I guess. Do you think that the new Valentina ruler is going to be played because of that, or just in general, you think separation is going to be worthwhile?
I definitely think that Valentina has its uses. I think that Mikage was a good counter to Feetsing, but I'm
Hmm.
not so sure that he stays around as the sole stealth ruler.
Gotcha.
I
Hmm.
think you have a bit of variety when it comes to picking your ruler for stealth now.
Interesting. That's fair. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think this guy has some cool things going on for him, but he's just not really correct for the current format.
Definitely not.
Next up, we have Ancient Manager.
This card is mostly unplayable.
Uh,
I know that when we saw
only
the
mostly.
when we saw the blue spoilers that were like mill the top card of your deck, put a XX token that's like the card's cost. A lot of people talked about like some kind of Shion remote control golem deck. And if that were to play red, I could definitely see this as just an easy burn 1,000 for 1 mana.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that you're
But that deck doesn't
burning for
seem
a
good.
thousand in Xion, right? I'm just not. I don't like any of the cards that say reveal the top card of your deck, gain X, deal X, because it's just such a low number. Like forcible cards, sorry, good forcible cards do not cost a lot of mana. So if you're filling your deck full of bad cards to make your other bad cards that deal damage do things and almost be relevant, then your deck is just bad. So
Yeah, but
moving
if you
on.
want to play a bad deck, you can put this card in your bad Shion deck.
Okay. Next up, we have Best Stat, Goddess of Cats.
How the fuck is this a super rare?
I don't know because it's a cat.
This card's shit.
Forcible fucking loves cats. Yeah, this
This cat
card's
doesn't draw a card.
so the way that you kill resonators in Force of Will is not by dealing damage to them with Cthulhu's. It's by playing spells that kill them. So the first part of this effect is irrelevant, and then anything with inheritance that doesn't say draw a card is also irrelevant. So ta-da, we have an irrelevant card.
Goodbye, super rare slot.
I mean, it's basically a 2 mana 6/7, which is like the best thing that's going for it, which is slightly overstated in the world of Force of Will.
Problem is that it doesn't deal 6 to your opponent.
Yeah, it's just not. Next up, Bastet's Fascination. So this card's like a worse Gleipnir, basically.
It's a worse Glepnir and a worse Shining Strike.
Yeah, because like Shining Strike, you can tap down a guy, draw a card, and then attack it, and this kind of is a little bit better in some scenarios, but not really. So I don't like it
I mean, if
overall.
you're trying to kill a Resonator by attacking it, then this is always better than Shining Strike, but Shining
Yeah,
Strike definitely has a lot more uses outside of that one very specific scenario.
I agree.
And then Glepnir just does this.
I do like that it draws a card though, because
You can discard your additional Glepnirs to draw a card.
yeah, but this card, like, you just another 1 mana do something irrelevant, draw a card. We're collecting those now. We've got Gleipnir and Hydro and Rewriting Laws are 0 mana draw cards. Then we've
So is
got
Glepnir.
yeah, so Rewriting Laws, Gleipnir, Hydronomica are all 0 mana draw a card. And
Yeah.
now we've got Shining Strike, Basset's Fascination, Whispers from the Wind, Whispers of the Wind. You know the green
Yeah.
card, and I think there's one more that is
Tom.
1 mana. Tama, yeah. But yeah. Next up is Conjure Time Bomb.
So this card's a wall of text, and I'm not going to get into the finer mechanics of it. I'm pretty much just going to tell you that it's bad because pretty much every deck has a way to kill a 100/100 token before your turn ends, and you get the chance to banish it,
Yeah.
even
But
if you were to
so
awaken it.
do you think
And it
that
costs as much mana as Flame Trap. So if you want to clear the board, you should just play Flame Trap.
yeah, the biggest thing for me is that I would actually like this card a lot if it was easier to make it do 200 more damage because I think that would be a very good option for Soul to beat Feasting or to like deal with Feasting. Mostly because, like, yeah, Feasting can just like Tama to kill it, but they don't always have Tama. It's not unreasonable that Soul can find a way to like get this card active when Feasting doesn't have a Tama. But the fact that it's just not killing the Gwybers is the biggest problem. I do like that it does hit the face if you awaken it or whatever, and like
It
you can
hits the
get it
face
off.
regardless.
Yeah, but you can awaken it to like get it off before they ever get to like have a chance
Oh
to
yeah.
interact. But yeah, just not enough damage on the board weight because of the meta.
Next we go on to Invisible Flame. It's a 2-drop 6/6, so it meets the vanilla standard. And it's just Inheritance deals 600 damage to target J Resonator, which there are better cards that deal 600 to J Resonator or player
Yeah.
for 2 mana.
I mean, if you want to, like, it's red and one. So if you're splashing in a red deck, if you're splashing red in a deck, this is better than the other options. But otherwise, you have Lightning Helix, which is red white, deal 6, gain 6 to J Resonator or player.
Yeah,
You have
I'm trying to
Bombardment.
think of because for 100 less you get Lightning Strike and 1 less mana, and like what is relevant that has 600 defense but not 1,000
I'm saying
or not
nothing,
5? I
and I'm
mean,
going to the next card
yeah,
because that card is bad always.
Skyscraper Giant. This is
Oh, this
probably
is cool.
one of the more interesting cards in the set. You bring it out by a 3-drop that we should probably just skip to real quick.
Is it next?
No,
It
because
is
it's
not.
green.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about this guy again once we get to him. But
Yeah,
basically, he's really expensive. You're never going to hardcast him. You're going to cheat him in by playing Dance of Shadows or Shadow Doppelganger or the Jack and the Beanstalk, whatever the guy's name is that can
yeah,
cheat him in. And he's really actually kind of hard to deal with, I think.
yeah, definitely.
Well, he was, but now like Lilius deals with this for breakfast and gains a bunch of life for doing it. Um, but like the current iterations of the meta, like control decks, actually don't deal with this guy very easily.
Oh, something that someone pointed out to me is I don't think anything in this set has Pierce.
I think you're
And
right.
I originally thought this guy had Pierce, not Precision.
You know, he just target attacks. Like he's just a big fatty. He's got like consistent board clears. He's hard to remove. He has 17/17, so you really want to remove him. But overall,
Yeah,
he doesn't like do much. You know, he's just big. It's all he is, and he's not big enough to 2-turn clock you. It's a 3-turn clock, so it's just,
but it is a step in the right direction for big
yeah.
resonators.
I,
Having the barrier chanting the board wipe ability
I
is nice.
those are two things that I want on like a deck that's playing big guys, right?
Yeah. So Time Guide Admiral Alfred, he's pretty bad, and the wording on him can get a little confusing. But it's essentially you have to have played an Ancient Magic this turn using mana counters, and you can have no floating will, and then you get 2 mana counters.
Yeah. So the wording on it basically just prevents you from removing 2 mana counters, floating the will, getting 2 more, then like using that to like ramp into a big ancient magic. You just have to have like already played an ancient magic using magic counters,
Which like isn't
basically.
super hard with Rune of Soul.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is what you want to be paying 3 mana for.
Yeah, I don't really want to. I don't really care about putting out an 8/8 if I'm playing Soul because I feel like Soul is such a combo-oriented deck. Like your win
Yeah,
condition is, rising into Hook or just like Invitation to Disaster twice. Like putting this guy as a body out is just not the most relevant thing in the world, and probably not making the deck space to be honest.
yeah. Next we
Next
have
up,
World Flame Summoning,
ooh, I
where
like
you
this
choose
card.
2 of 4 options, and I think 3 of the 4 options are really good.
I think all of them are good.
Oh, I read that incorrectly. Yeah, all of these are good. Um, this card is very, very good.
Hmm.
I didn't know this is like the only card I didn't see before the set actually came out. So when I pulled it, I was very surprised.
Hmm.
Um, but this card is definitely interesting. I don't think you can run it in like I mean, you could run it in like the traditional like Mercurius combo type thing, with like the Rising.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this card because I definitely think this might help put Soul on the map because it's not a combo piece. It's just a very good ancient magic.
Um, the biggest thing for me about this card is the absolute like utility of it. So if you're worried about the mirror match, right? Like you want to slow them down so they're not comboing you first. You can make them banish a stone and then just like deal 800 to put them on a quicker clock. If you're fighting against the Gwyber deck, you can wipe their board and then like make them banish a stone. If you're playing against like Val 2 or like 0, you can just nuke their J Ruler for 1500, which is absolutely insane. And then also like put a stone back. I think the
Yeah,
weakest one out of all of these is dealing 800 damage to your opponent.
yeah.
But when you combo it with like an 800 damage board wipe or banishing a magic stone, which is insane again, I think it's really good.
Yeah. Especially since they banish a special magic stone, so like they can't get that back.
Yeah. It's not like
Um,
Hook where it goes to the top of your deck, and it's
yeah.
kind of I wish it was like destroy target magic stone just for like beating Lilius, but like Lilius gets to keep its killing stone, so it's
Yeah.
next up.
Alhamat's Mage Knight. This card's bad.
Yeah,
Its
but
whole
it's
gimmick is
cool.
that you could like pay it for 0 mana on turn 1, but it doesn't have 600 attack.
All right, so what happens when I J activate into my guy and then I just plot down 4 of these guys? What do you do?
Laugh at you for wasting your entire Ancient Magic turn, and then I play the previous card and wipe your board.
Okay, so Charlotte's Welder of the Sacred Spirit. I think that this card is unplayable in the main board because of like the combo decks like Soul and Resonator decks like Wyber, and I guess even Lilius is a Resonator deck in some capacity. Just like blow this card out of the water.
Yeah.
But in the control mirrors, where like your Mikage v Mikage or Mikage v Valentina, this card is really hard to deal with. And just the fact that it's decently big, or it will be decently big most of the time if you're playing a control deck where you just happen to keep a lot of cards in hand and draw a lot of cards. It replaces itself when it enters the field, and it's just got barrier from basically everything. Like I don't know.
Yeah, like this is killable by Melder if like you're not maintaining 5 cards in hand, which isn't unreasonable to say in a control mirror. However, if you are playing Clash G Tank, I think this card will be pretty much unkillable in the control mirror.
Yeah.
And you're probably siding Clash G Tanks into the control mirror anyway if you're not already maining them.
Uh, so I think there was a ruling set up about this card where rulers count as converted mana cost 0.
0, yes.
So this card will have barrier from Mikage. It will have
J rulers
barrier.
also have converted mana cost 0.
Yeah, so like even like you can't Mikage it, you can't use Valentina or whatever the heck she's called to like -1/-1 it. You just like there's just so little you can do to interact with this card as long as they're keeping, at least 3 cards in hand. Like
Yeah.
what card are you gonna play that costs more than 3 mana that's gonna target this thing? It's literally only Melder, and as a control deck, you're probably gonna have 5 cards in hand. So it's just super sticky. But again, it's only really useful in the control mirrors because anything else is just gonna fly over it or just kill it with a 7-drop, like Hammond's a 7-drop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So yeah, interesting. Next up we have
Fishing.
fishing.
This is the card I was talking about for the fucking shitty Xion Golem deck. But
What?
like that's something I heard about that people were interested. It seems like a fun, cute deck, but it's not competitive in any capacity.
I'm not gonna talk about this card. I'm not gonna give this card the light day.
This guy's essentially the same thing as the last card, except worse because he costs 3 mana and is not an 8/8.
What the heck? What is this archetype that they've done?
I don't know.
This fishing.deck, just play a bunch of big guys and then a bunch of bad cards and hope that you draw your bad cards and then you rip big guys off the top. What
Yeah,
happens if it goes the other way around and you draw your big cards and then like you
you
play
fucking
like
lose.
you draw like 2 interdimensional or like 2 ancient golem guys, 2 earthers, and a fishing, and then you fish this guy. Like this seems terrible in every format. What is this card? Moosh Darts, Illusionary Soldier.
So it can't take damage on your opponent's turn, which is largely irrelevant because it's only a 1/1 anyway.
So it's just an infinite.
And you can
blocker.
pay a mana to return it to your hand.
So it's if they ever try and remove it, you just get it back, and then you replay it, and then you can just block things
again.
that don't fly forever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next card.
Yeah.
The card's really bad.
So this card only has an inheritance ability, which is not a particularly good one.
Return. So it's a instant speed send back, less conditional sniping from the blind spot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. It's just like a mediocre body with a mediocre ability. So.
And a non-self-replacing inheritance effect.
Yeah, I'm not about that. This card though, Rachel's Smile. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I definitely like this card. The first Soul deck that I built didn't include this, but the first Soul deck I built was also pretty bad. So,
I don't know how you don't include this. So the biggest thing, right?
because I was Rising comboing people, they don't have any fucking stones.
Rising combo. This sets up for the rising combos. Okay, so like the biggest thing about this card is that it costs 5 mana and it's ancient magic. And typically, um, if you don't have the coin, your combo is going to be going into your turn four.
Yeah,
So basically, for those of you who aren't like following me here, uh, as Soul, you go turn three, call to 3 stones, pass turn. Don't tap your mana, do anything. Your opponent goes ahead to take their turn three. Hopefully, you don't lose the game, right? So then you go into your turn four, and then before untap, you tap your 3 stones, and then you remove the 2 counters you start the game with, and you rest all J Resonators and Magic Stones your opponent controls, and now they have no will available to counter your combo. So then you untap, you J activate, you get 10 counters, you rising, you put their stones back, and you just pretty much win the game on the spot. And it just kind of like sets up nicely, which is why I like it so much.
I mean, the
Um,
only problem I have with that scenario is that I think like 7 out of 10 games I end up using my 2 mana counters to play an Ancient Knowledge to dig for my combo pieces.
that's not unreasonable. I think that it's also not unreasonable to like play some of the mana counter generators, like Ancient Heartfelt Fire.
Oh, definitely.
Like if you Ancient Heartfelt Fire and then Ancient Knowledge, I think you still have 2 mana counters going into turn five, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um.
So as long as you use 2 mana for Ancient
Yeah.
Knowledge, but it's like turn one Heartfelt Fire, turn two Ancient Knowledge, turn three this, turn four win the game,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that a perfect world? So it does like fit into what the archetype wants to be doing in a
Yeah.
fair and balanced way. Um, at least like you know what I mean. It's not like
Yeah.
super like retarded where it's like only 2 mana to play this card. I don't really see this card being playable outside of ancient Magic decks.
There's definitely a lot of mana for anything that isn't Soul to be casting.
Yeah, maybe if you're playing like some super late game combo deck where you need like 7 stones to do your combo and you want to like be on turn seven before untap, tap all your stuff. Like I
Yeah.
feel like the law of silence effect is just easier to pull off at that point.
Probably.
But yeah, that's what I think about this card. I like it a lot for assault decks. I think it's very important for the deck to have something like this.
Yeah. Reunion of Sisters. It's confusing to me that you had black, blue, and
Yeah,
red, blue, and then this requires you to have a blue and a white guy.
yeah,
And then you just get to do 2 mediocre things. Like you get to draw 2 cards, which is cool, but then you get to like return a Resonator to its owner hand, which is mediocre. And like this costs 3 mana.
3 mana draw two at sorcery speed. I'm pretty sure it's don't we have
Because
like
like
we still have
4C is
4C, right?
unplayable. Yeah, 4C is unplayable, and that's just 2 blue mana, draw 2 cards, and then like so for 1 colorless mana, you're returning a guy to a hand, and you have to control a water and light resonator in order to do that.
Yeah, I don't like this
Card's
card
really bad.
ever. I'm skipping it. Next. Ooh, Feast Sing. Interesting.
So, this is the classic good in Magic, bad in Force of Will card.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely. Because this card's not good in Force of Will, or at least not the current meta.
Oh,
Um,
how do I feel about this card? I don't know, man.
I mean, obviously, its enter the battlefield effect is more geared towards like having an inheritance deck.
Yeah, I mean, uh, okay, no. Overall, I think you're right. I don't think this card's gonna see a lot of play.
The problem is that the addition that it puts in, I feel, is only good in a deck with the Feetsing Ruler.
Yeah,
Because then you actually have dudes out to like help produce mana with. But even then, it's pretty slow.
you have to like pay a mana to attach it to something, right? Or is it
No,
zero to
it's just tap it. So like you do this on your opponent's turn, and then like before untaps, you get to attach it to one of your elves, and then like tap that for mana, and then tap it, attach it to another elf. But I don't think you need to be ramping that hard in a Feetsing deck.
Yeah. I just feel like the monocle by itself is not a very good card because you need to pay 2 mana to do it, and then you also need to get a resonator to be able to ramp with it, which
Yeah,
makes that part of her inheritance effect not really something that I care about because I just don't
yeah.
want to be playing that card in general, which basically breaks her down to a 2 mana 6/6 that has the ability to bounce a guy at instant speed, which is a very useful effect. Um,
It's only your guy though.
yeah, but like I mean, like casting that on like an
I mean,
Atom or
it's
something.
obviously not bad, but it could be better.
Yeah, I just feel like we already have Apollo. Like any deck that like really cares about saving your guys and bouncing with your hand, you have
Yeah, it's
Apollo as
already
a
gonna play
4
Apollo.
like it's cool because you can like bluff having a Seal of Wind and Light. Like just because like you're leaving up a green and a white mana, like you're leaving up the same mana that you would like use for this. And if they try and do something, you can just like save your guys. I don't know. I just wish it like also was able to pull out the monocle when you just quick cast it. That would make it a lot better for me.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't think you play this in the Gwyber deck for that reason. I guess because it's just a worse Apollo basically.
yeah.
And then like what else? What else would play this card? That's like the only Resonator deck that I think functions right now.
So
So
my other problem is that like if you use the inheritance ability on turn 2, then you don't have 2 tokens on turn 3.
yeah, like even if you do play it in the Featsing deck, you're not getting a card by inheriting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just not a fan. I know a lot of people are talking about this card and they're really hyped about it, but I just don't know what you would play this in and have it actually be super impactful.
Yeah. On to Final Breeze. This
Ooh.
card's really, really good.
You think
Um,
so?
yeah, it hasn't been doing as much as I wanted to in testing, but I've been
Because the
talking with
card's
a couple
bad. I'm
people.
just gonna stop you right now. This card is really not good. This is not. So, if you're playing it as a counter spell, right? Just return target spell to its owner hand. It's really bad. Like it's a tempo play, but you're paying 2 mana to tempo. Like what are you countering?
Adam Brawley.
Eh? But like you're just throwing 2 mana out the fucking window to like have they still have an Atom Ball. Like why wouldn't you just seal it, you know? Like
Because I don't play white.
that's terrible. You should play white. Like it's like there's just no reason that this card would ever like I would play 4 Seal of Wind and Light before I ever play any copies of this card. And then the other side of this, right? So the first part is just like a worse Seal of Wind and Light in every scenario, like no matter
Well,
what.
obviously, yeah.
So then the torrent is like, oh wait, no, you can torrent it and then it's a Law of Silence. Okay. So like do you want
The
to
problem is like
when do you want to Law of Silence? And is it the
when you're
same
playing a combo
time?
deck.
So what combo deck are you playing? Like it's literally
I mean, I'm
just
not playing a
Soul.
fucking
Yeah,
combo
it's
deck.
literally just Soul that is like the only combo deck we have right now.
And like
And
even then, like 9 times out of 10, you have to do this on like your own card to trigger the torrent.
exactly, you have to bend over backwards to get this thing to actually go live. And if you don't like bend over backwards, like let's say you just start raw dogging your combo, and then like if they're
That's a really weird way to put that.
I mean, if you're just like trying to like just play into it, just like nope, I have a Final Breeze in hand, but like you can do your thing. Like just because of the nature of instant speed things in Force of Will, like as soon as you start doing it and like whatever like your thing is, like if they try and counter it and then you Final Breeze it, like okay, either so if they have 2 counter spells in hand, then they're gonna beat this anyway
Why
because
am I raw dogging my combo into 4 open mana?
okay, so like the thing is, if the only way that the law of silence on this is relevant is that if they have like double counter magic in their hand to like stop your shit from going off, and if they don't have double counter magic in their hand, then why the fuck aren't you just playing seal? Because it does the same thing. As soon as you stop that one spell, then the whole thing just like you're good. Like you only need to counter one spell most of the time to like actually get a combo to go off.
Because
So
I ain't playing no Ruler's Memoria.
so the law
White's a bad color.
that sounds terrible. It sounds absolutely terrible. Like I don't think that like getting the law of silence off is so relevant because we have such little instant speed interaction that it's even like that much of a deal. And then if you want to law of silence on your opponent's turn, then you need to play a card before you play this card. And like half the time that's going to be like a bear magic, right? Or like that. Like what else are you going to do at instant speed for the most part in this format? And then you feel like bear magic something randomly just so that you can final breeze the first card they play and then like stop the rest of their turn. So you do get to like make up for your tempo by like locking them out of their entire turn, but you're throwing away 2 cards to do it because they're still keeping the card in hand that you're countering with Final Breeze, and your Bear Magic was probably just like randomly used on a Resonator. So you threw away a Bear Magic and a Final Breeze just so that they couldn't have a turn, and like you threw away 2 cards to do that. So unless you like turn around on your turn and then like have a very aggressive like thing to do, in this deck that you play Final Breeze in, that like is just worthless otherwise. So I just don't think it's really playable in anything right now. But it definitely
It
does have
does
potential.
negate remnant cards, though.
So irrelevant though.
I'm
Like,
just throwing that out there because people might not know that.
yeah, okay, so you know what else negates remnant cards? Seal of Wind and Light.
Yeah, are you playing white mana in any fucking deck you built?
Not right now, but I mean like
Yeah, that's the fuck I thought.
I'm not like I like any deck that I would play Final Breeze in, I would just play Seal in. Like that's like that's it. That's the only thing I'm trying to say.
So on to Gale Force. Play this in your fucking side deck.
Yeah, sideboard this card. I don't care if you're not playing green. You can be strictly mono blue soul, and you still find Gale Force. So I don't give a fuck. I mean, that's pretty much all it is, right? It's just a sideboard
Yeah,
for the Wyvern
it's just a
decks.
sideboard card. Yeah,
It doesn't really shut down the Wyvern deck, but it just gives you more ways to like deal with them, kind of.
it slows them down enough for you to get to play forcible with them.
Yeah, but like the main thing is you need to be stopping the Guinevere's. Once you stop the Guinevere's, then this is very, very nice to be able to deal with the Wyverns. But
Yeah.
that's the idea.
So this is the card that we were talking about, Jack. Climbing the beanstalk. There you go. Is Jack a girl?
I don't know.
All right.
I think so.
So yeah, the problem with this card is that it's really slow because like you play it for 3 mana, and then like next turn, if it gets through unblocked, and as Jack, then you contribute it to summon the skyscraper giant. But like if it gets bear magic, you don't get to do it. If it gets blocked by an elf token, you don't get to do it.
Yeah.
It's just really slow.
So decks that exist, right? Decks that exist in Force of Will. You've got like Feasting, which can like block this easily. You've got any control deck which just spot removes this as soon as they see you pay 3 mana for a card. You've got Soul, which like maybe lets it live, and then maybe you get out a 17/17, and then it just gets Rise back to your hand. So there's just like no opportunity for you to ever really use this.
Yeah. Even in Wanderer, it's not good when you get to go like turn 1 Elvish Priest, like use your Elvish Priest to discard and search this card, play it turn 2. Like turn 3 doesn't help this card at all.
Yeah.
Like doing it a turn faster doesn't help it survive and get through.
So next up we have Luon, Auspicious Beast.
It's just another inheritance card that doesn't replace itself.
This is terrible. Like straight terrible.
Magic Stone Life Form. I don't like this card.
Hold on. I want to put in my bid. I think Luon, Auspicious Beast might be the worst card in the set. That's gonna get my vote for now. Next up, Magic Stone Life Form. Oh dear. So
I don't like this card.
you don't like this card.
So the problem is that it's kind of slow.
Yeah.
In that if you want to sack it to Adam Raleigh the turn that you play it, you paid a mana to play this card, and then you get that mana back.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're just kind of throwing this card away to have something to sack to Adam Raleigh.
But you're getting 2 mana. You sack it with Adam Raleigh, and it's 2 mana of any color.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what kind of deck you're playing where that's relevant, and like you can just afford to throw away a card to produce a mana of any color.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Every single like floater or every single 1-drop in the Wyvern deck.
It's like you're still only netting 1 mana because
Yeah.
you had to pay a mana to play this card.
No, I feel you. I mean, you can invest it into later turns, right? So you like play this turn 1, and like turn 2, you're able to like get 4 mana almost, right?
Yeah, like it doesn't die at Atama, which is really nice. So that you actually can play this turn 1 and reasonably expect it to live to turn 2.
Yeah, but I mean, like I think the biggest like talking point about this card is like, yeah, it helps you accelerate. Like you can even do some like super cheesy, faster Captain Hooks with this card. But when you look at like what's in the Gwyver deck, every single 1-drop that they play
Replaces itself.
It's a floater in terms of cards. Like none of the 1-drops are ramping mana. You don't play Sacred Elf. You're only looking for the 1-drops to replace themselves, and then like you just let the Adam Raleighs like generate mana. You just call stones. You just play your cards. Like the main way you run out of gas is by running out of cards, not by running out of mana. So you really don't need more mana. You really just need to keep drawing cards. So I don't think this replaces any of the 1-drops that are in the deck already. And I think this might be better in some situations early game, but it's like strictly an awful top deck at any point past like turn 4 or turn 3. Which is why I don't think we'll see much play.
The other thing is like I think Featsing is and will continue to be the only deck that plays Adam Raleigh.
Yeah.
And this doesn't go in the Featsing deck. So
have you thought about Lilius with Adam Raleigh and maybe playing this card?
Long story short, yes, I thought about it, and I'm not doing it.
Okay, I know you were talking about it. I wasn't sure if there was anything to do with it. Hunting beans. So this card's many a time in my history of building forcible decks have I always been like, man, I wish there was something that could just put a card from my deck into my graveyard. And now there is. And now that there is, I'm past the point of caring. Like I just
yeah, it's kind of underwhelming now that it's happened, right?
I was looking for that when I was building like necromancy decks. I was looking for that when I was building like control decks, but now it's just like this isn't really relevant in anything. Especially now that we have Barrier Seal, which we'll get to later. Any kind of like necromancy revival strategies just feel a lot worse than they ever did right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even like with the super special Awaken It, you get to put it in your hand right away. The fact that it's like vulnerable to where it has to go to the graveyard and like they can
They
like
can't
just
do anything to it.
yeah. I mean, no, and like if you have barrier seal out, you
Yeah,
can't
if
actually
Barrier
wait
Seal is
there.
out, then you can't do it.
Yeah.
I think Faded Reunion is just a better version of this in most decks that you would be playing this card in.
I almost agree. Like again, combo decks maybe like this where they get to see their combo pieces guaranteed. But the
Yeah.
only combo deck is Ancient Magic, and the only like there's just a better card for Ancient Magic than this card. So
Yeah. Plus, like, yeah. Um,
Sacred Beast of Wind gives a guy +3/+3 and flying for a turn.
Bad.
I'm
Doesn't
gonna go with the
support
next
this.
card. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Allahamet's Black Lightning.
So I like this better than I like the white card that we saw earlier.
The
The Remnant one.
the Remnant thing.
Yeah.
1 second.
So this is like mostly worse. But the fact that you get to use it an infinite number of times is a lot more relevant against like the control mirrors. Um, I still think
Hold
like
on, I'll be right back.
yeah, no
Keep
problem.
going.
So the main thing is like in uh, let me clarify. I still think this card is bad, but the reason I like it better than the white card is because you can just like keep using it and keep using it and keep using it and keep using it. You just have like an infinite engine of I have way too much mana and I want to kill all of your resonators. It almost turns like any control deck into Mikage, because kind of what Mikage does is he'll just like pay mana, kill your dudes, kill your dudes. And Mikage like gets a win condition out of it. But this is just like I play one of this card and now I just get to always kill your dudes and you can never cancel it. Um, but overall, I think it's just like too much mana to even do that, and there's no decks that are only playing one scary resonator at a time, and it's still the fact that it's 2 mana and awaken for 4 still makes it like really vulnerable to getting shit on by the new blue Charlotte, which is like the main hardest resonator to kill in control mirrors now. So I don't like this card at all. While he is gone doing whatever, we're gonna go to the next card. Death at Midnight. It is terrible, right? Instant speed banish is something that we already have and don't play, and now it's even worse. I think the card we had before this was instant speed, same mana cost, each player banishes a non-Cthulhu resonator. So this is one-sided, it's only your opponent, you don't have to banish a guy, but the decks that were using this didn't play guys anyway, they were just hard control decks, so it's pretty much just unplayable. With this like gimmicky little upside slash downside where they're trying to let you punish the people. It's really dumb, and I don't think it's any good. So Dimension Dragon Nidhogg. He's another 12 Apostles. I'm pretty sure we have like 15 of those now. And when he enters the field, he kills all of your opponent's lowest cost resonators. So this ability has been kind of confusing for some people. It's just basically if they control multiple 1-drops, all of their 1-drops die. If they don't control any 1-drops and their lowest cost resonator is a 2-drop, all of their 2-drops die. And that's really the opposite of what you want to be doing. If you're paying 6 mana to bring out a 12/12 for flying, you want to kill all their biggest guys. And the fact that he doesn't makes him pretty underwhelming in every capacity. Um, Again, he's just a very expensive minion, and there's a lot of counter magic in the game right now that we added Final Breeze. I mean, like I said, personally, I don't think Final Breeze is good, but that doesn't mean that people won't be playing it. And you really can't just play giant resonators into a format where people are playing counter spells. So I don't think he's any good.
Are we on the dragon?
Yeah, I already did Death at Midnight. Pretty bad. Dimension Dragon Nidhogg, don't like it at all. Any comment?
No, that sounds about right.
Alright.
Trying to figure out how to reopen the slideshow, but it doesn't look like it's working for me.
Rest in peace. Alright, next up is Faded Reunion. Alright, I guess we're gonna get into the double. No, we're still in just random black cards. Okay.
Oh, so the one as I'm always one to point out the fringe uses of cards, the Dimensional Dragon Nidhogg is a 12 Apostle.
Yes.
So you can cheat. It's like the 14th 12 Apostle.
I said I think we have 15, but yeah.
So you can cheat it in with Gil Lapis, which is probably its best use, but even then it's kind of
I don't think the
mediocre.
Lapis is that good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is either, but
Faded Reunion is basically
a better
Hydra.
Beans.
It's like a non-instant speed Hydronomica slash a better Beans if you have both the pieces to it.
So at first I thought this card was bad.
Uh-huh.
And then David Hartley pointed out to me that it says J Resonator.
Oh yeah, that's a super relevant. That's on all of the modal spells.
Yeah, which means that if you're playing Fox, you always have a Darkness J Resonator. So you just need one more to get the to make this just 2 mana add a card to your hand.
Which I think is good. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't think it's something that you mainboard strictly because you can't afford to be that slow against certain decks. Like Soul and Feasting are the first ones that come to mind. Um, but I think that it's really good when you side it in against the slower matchups, and then you just, like you just draw into it, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna get the card that I need right now. I'm gonna play the card that I need, and it gets really valuable as the game goes on.
I think you can definitely main deck this in Fox though.
Really?
Well, you spend your first like 2 turns summoning Griffins.
I mean, I guess I don't know a card would be so important that I would want to waste like throw away 2 mana to go grab.
I do, but I'm not gonna say it on stream because then I'll get creamed at states because everybody knows my deck list.
All right. Next up is Kumo Maru. When this card enters your field, put 2+1/+1 counters on target resonator your opponent controls.
Yeah, so like the whole vampire archetype has from this set is like about putting +1/+1 counters on your opponent's creatures and then like stealing them back,
Which is really dumb in my opinion.
which is really bad.
I mean, I haven't seen it in action to really comment on it. I just really can't imagine it being any good.
Me
Just
neither.
because the
Especially if they're
cards,
playing Feet Sing.
yeah, and also because like the cards cost mana, and cards that cost mana are really slow right now. Like that's just it's just the world we live in. So yeah, 2 mana 7/7. Like yeah, it's overstated, but no. Shadow of Lapis next up, 2/4 for 1.
Put a token copy of target resonator token you control into your field. Awful.
I almost really like this card because I thought it said when this card enters your field, put a token copy of target resonator token you control. And I was like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. Like I can just play it for 1 black mana, copy my Feasting token, and this is excellent. But then I realized it says banish. So you're just playing a
Yeah.
1 mana token, which is terrible.
Hawkins thought this was really good because he thought it just said put a token copy of resonator you can target
Yeah.
resonator you control, and I
Like
was like, what? For 1 mana you just duplicate your Gwybers? No.
that sounds excellent. Yeah. But no. Oh
Next up is
god.
the first daughter, which is the whole gimmick of putting +1/+1 counters on your opponent's dudes, and it's just 3 mana is a shit ton to play for a resonator that doesn't like do anything immediately.
Yeah.
And then it's got the same problem as that white resonator we touched on earlier, where you have to pay mana to relocate the +1/+1 counters.
Yeah. I don't like this at all.
Especially since you can only put them on, because the other one was put it on a light resonator. This one is put it on a vampire, which is even more narrow.
I think all I have to say about this card is that I think it's the worst of the daughters, and the other daughters are already unplayable. So
That sounds right.
next up, Yashamaru. This,
Um,
so this is
yeah,
like the coolest thing you can do with putting +1/+1 counters in your opponent's guys is that you can pay 1 mana to kill them,
yeah,
which is the best thing you can do for 1 mana. But the fact that it's so you have to bend over backwards to like get this guy live. And Urashima Taro is just a better card, even though he costs 2 mana. Like his
yeah.
condition is just so much more activatable, and he's got a much better like board presence than this.
I
So
mean, if you're playing Mikage, yeah. If you're not playing Mikage, then like I think
I think even if you're not
I'm
playing
not sure why you'd
Mikage,
be playing Mikage and not playing all this +1/+1
yeah,
vampire shit without Mikage, but
I'm going to the next card.
that's
Here,
fine.
are we in the modals? Okay, now we're in like the
Yeah,
modal spells. Cool,
thank God.
I think.
And wait,
So green
kind of.
white one. Again, it's very relevant that you can control one. Like the J resonator part of this is very relevant, so you can
Yeah.
control a light or a wind J resonator.
The problem I have with all the J Resonator ones that aren't black is that Fox is guaranteed to survive the entire game unless he gets
Whoa,
like
final
lasered
forfeit
or
Black
final.
Moonbeam, bro.
All right, if you final forfeit, like, so the problem with the final forfeit Black Moonbeam and the reason I think it's awful and won't deal with Fox is because at some point in the game they are going to summon a Manticore, and if they see either final forfeit or Black Moonbeam in your hand, then they know you're playing both, and they're just going to take that out of your hand, and now you have a completely useless card.
Well, thank you for that wonderful insight.
But Blazer
But
will
Blazer,
kill it.
Blazer will kill. I think Blazer's already good sideboard because I think it deals with Valentina 2.0 very well. At least like the aggro version, not really the control version.
Yeah, but as I was saying, so the other J rulers aren't guaranteed to sit on the field the entire
Right, right,
game,
right.
which makes these modal spells a little bit worse.
Yeah. So onto a rendezvous with light and wind. In a vacuum, you either cheat in a 4-drop, which basically you do at instant speed because this is an instant, which is like the most relevant part of it. So you can cheat
Yeah,
in a 4-drop, wind or a wind or light resonator, which nothing really comes to mind as super important. And then
yeah.
or you can just +4/+4 your board and it's permanent. You get plus one counters, so it's not as big as Sprint of the Beast Lady, but
But it
it's
is
more
permanent,
permanent, which
and it
is
goes through bear.
yeah,
Which it's also worth noting that you will get the counters on whatever 4-drop you cheat in if you get both.
yeah. So I don't
Still
really
pretty
like
bad.
this card. Yeah, I
Me
just
neither. For 4 mana, I can't think of any wind or light 4-drop that I care about cheating in for 4 mana, and like I don't think I'm gonna unless I'm playing like all these green white cards like just beg you to play the Featsing ruler
mhm,
rather than the new one,
yeah.
Faria, I think she is. But even then, it's not great
Yeah, I mean, I think
because
that
I don't think my tokens are surviving long enough for me to do this.
if your board is big enough that giving all of your guys plus four would have like a really relevant impact on the game, I feel like you could spend one less mana, play sprint, and then just win the game that turn. You know, because
Yeah,
like if you have, let's say if you have like three dudes out, sprint by itself is 1,800 damage, and if you're like playing a green white deck, I just assume you're playing fucking Wyvern. So like, sprint will win you more games than this will win you.
yeah.
Like thankfully this is instant speed, but I'd rather play 3 mana at sorcery to win the game than wait, pay 4 mana that is really, really obvious and easy to read because I've left open 4 mana. Like it's just there's just too much gimmick going on, and it's just
I
strictly
don't know how
wasted.
obvious it is since that's seal mana.
But that's more than seal mana. You know what I mean? It's just
That's
like
two
so
seals.
much mana. Like I would rather just like keep building my board bigger and just
Yeah.
like play this. I don't
So on to Altea's Elite.
know. Hmm.
The fact that the other cards go to the graveyard is kind of shitty, especially if you. I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed to rip a chant if you're playing this card.
Right.
But the problem is if you hit like 2 chants that you really wanted.
But you can give them remnant with the other card that exists.
True. Um, I don't know. I just don't think this card's super great.
Yeah, I don't like. Again, I think that the most relevant thing right now is flyers. This card, like this is a god, is fucking huge, but like a
I mean,
thousand defense is
anytime I
giant.
see a blue resonator, I try to value how good it is to drop off of Rising next to the hooks,
I guess.
and this just doesn't seem like your best option.
Yeah. Um, it just like digs a little bit, but you just have better dig options for this kind of mana, right? Like
Yeah,
if you want to pay 3 mana, like I'd rather just ancient knowledge for the most part because it's just a
yeah.
more versatile card in general. So, here
Amit,
we go.
on to the good stuff. So first off, this guy's ugly.
Thank you for that
No problem.
wonderful, wonderful insight.
Just in case anyone didn't know, this
Thank you.
motherfucker is ugly.
Okay.
Do you have
Anything
anything to say
else?
about this card?
I mean, I was gonna let you keep going. If you just ugly, that's it. We're
Oh
done.
yeah, he's ugly. He
Okay,
is
so
ugly.
7 mana. That's super super expensive, right? No, Lilius cheats him in for 0 mana. That's just
From
insane.
your side deck.
Yeah. So bringing out 15/15s that kill guys and gain life for 0 mana is something that I am very interested in doing and something that I will be experimenting with in the upcoming set. And I think that it's really important to look at all of the cards, the like the toolbox that Lilius provides. And it's yeah, giant guy killing a resonator. Check. Okay, we'll come back to this later when we talk about Lilius, which I think is at the end.
Yeah.
Keep that guy in mind.
Ancient Barrier. If this card was an ancient magic, I think this card would
Oh
be
my
very,
god,
very
that
good.
would be insane. You
I
stop right
think.
now. You stop right now. So we're gonna talk about this card as an addition, and we're gonna call it bad. And we're gonna move on with our day.
Okay.
So okay, so why is this card bad? Because it's not obviously bad, right? Because if you actually play this card against a control deck, then it feels like you would get a lot of value. That it would be very difficult for them to remove it, and it would be very difficult for them to like play the game once you do this.
I guess the big thing is that I don't know. The biggest thing I can see using this for is to protect your other additions to make because if you make Heavenly Gust cost 4 mana
Hmm.
and they have to awaken it, then that's a little difficult for them to do.
Hmm.
But pretty much you're spending your entire like you don't want to spend your turn 3 playing this card. You want to spend your turn 3 playing Rachel's Smile and then flipping into Soul,
Isn't
or
this
you want to
kind of
spend your
similar to
turn 3
Rachel's Smile?
Hydromonicking.
Where like it becomes very difficult for them to have counter spells if you put them under bear. Like their turn
Yeah,
four literally has to be pass, and
I
then their
think the
turn
problem
five
is
has to be pay 1 mana pass. Like
I think
that.
the problem is that this has too many bad matchups. I mean, I could definitely see this as a side deck card. I would think against the like Probably. Oh no, not the mirror because it's non-ancient magic chance.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I
but
could definitely.
probably against stealth, I would say that this is a good sideboard card. Except like they're already playing. You know they've sided in multiple gusts because they know you're siding in shackles. So that's
Yeah.
just like more cards that they put in to deal with this card.
I actually think it's pretty good. I think it's even a better turn three than Smile in some situations because, like you said, like sometimes you just want an ancient knowledge. You don't have the counters to be able to Smile. So if you're
Yeah.
plopping this down on turn three instead of just leaving your mana open, then it makes it very difficult for them to interact with your combo. And it also like has like a long run factor where sometimes against the black decks they'll scorn your hand, they'll nameless mist you, and they'll like disrupt your combo. This not only makes it harder for them to stop it when you do go off, but it also makes them pay more mana to continually disrupt you as you try and like build the pieces back together, right?
Yeah.
So I could see it as a sideboard. I think it's just irrelevant in too many matchups because like there is the Feasting deck. Even Lilius is very resonator based,
Yeah.
and you just don't have time to play this, and it's like not impactful at all when you do play it against them. But
Even
against
if you
like the
did,
black
like
control
Manticore
decks,
can just blow it up if it's an issue.
yeah. So I think that this would be an excellent sideboard against like the black control decks for the ancient magic deck.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's like not that good.
So barrier seal.
Whew.
Um.
Oof.
Yeah, this is a fucking card, man.
Yeah. So I've had a couple people ask me about like how this card deals, how it fares against Gwyver, and I think that if you can successfully like get yourself in a position to resolve this card and then not be super behind and lose the game because you attempted to cast this card on turn two, I think you're in a very good position to win the game because it's almost as good as like shutting down their Guinevere's, right? Like stopping Rook Egg, stopping like Alice Little Scout, stopping Death Scythe, stopping Messenger Familiar. Like there's just so many things that just turn off
And
from
Drake.
Barrier Seal. And Drake, yeah, like it becomes it slows down Thiefsing a lot.
Yeah.
It's really like the hardest problem with it is just seeing the correct colors on turn two,
Yeah.
um, and then also being able to like stabilize after that. But I really I could see maybe a Soul playing this if they're playing Lotus Memoria. It's like one. Actually, I don't know because I don't think Soul ever cares about interacting with the board after that. It's probably not. But no, it will definitely slow down feasting. It will definitely slow down like a lot of things. Like remnants just go out the fucking
Knights.
window.
Knights can play this deck.
Oh god. All right. But yeah, I think this is a very impactful sideboard card. I don't know if you do. Oh my god, Lilius I think loses this card really hard because he wants to keep using the 3-drop to bring things out of grave. Um, but yeah,
You haven't played the Lilius deck, have you?
I have not. I've only theorycrafted it. So
Gotcha. But this card definitely does hurt it. Uh, the only problem is that you pretty much only get to use it for the mass removal from grave, and then like it's on field for a turn before they just like summon a Manticore.
yeah, that's probably true. Oh, the killing stones are gone forever.
Yeah.
They can no longer. Yeah, that makes sense. Lots of really
So
cool
they'll
applications.
always lose at least one killing stone to deal with this, and then like if there were any additional ones in the grave, like you probably got rid of two of them, and then like if you play multiple copies of this card, like it's possible to get rid of all of their killing stones. The
Excellent.
problem is just not losing the game before that happens,
Yeah, I mean, it's
and
just
then
it's
winning
a
the game after
it's
that
literally
happens.
just like you're throwing away everything, dude. Like in terms of like a lot of cards that are played right now are either super card efficient or super tempo efficient, and this is neither. Like Lapis Storm,
But it's still a very good card.
yeah, like Lapis's Darkstorm is like a really good card, and it's like being cut down to 2 or less in most control lists because you just can't play it on turn 2 because of like how far that sets you behind in tempo, even though you're gaining cards. This is throwing 2 mana away for nothing. You're not impacting the board. You're not gaining cards. In fact, you're losing a card because you're just playing this card in the field and doing nothing. But like the long-term benefits, like really can scale out, especially with like the enter ability. And it's really just a matter of like how well you can stabilize after that. It makes this
Yeah,
card make or break. Blessed Knight. 3 mana. Destroy. This is
4/4. This is
booty.
awful.
I'm gonna go to the next card.
This card is also kind of bad because it's not really what you want to be paying 2 mana to do with Soul.
Yeah, I don't
Like you
want
don't really care about
to.
playing early resonators on curve.
Imagine if there was like a. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go for that analogy. It's just like
All
not
right,
a good card. I think. I think that the 1 mana guys that add ancient magic counters to your ruler are better.
better.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
last set. Crimson Bat. Oh, this is Lightning Helix.
Yeah.
I thought this card was actually called Lightning Helix because everyone keeps calling it Lightning Helix.
Oh.
Right. I think this card's like decent. It's like increasing our burn spell count. You're probably already playing Rulers of Moria. Maybe you're not like super white, but like if your Knight's Percival's a card, so you might be white, depending on like what kind of
I
aggro
mean, you
list you're
have
playing.
8 red white stones.
Yeah, I mean like there's reasonable decks that would play this. I just don't think that the format's really good for aggro or burn right now, which is why
I
I'm not like
agree.
super happy about it. But like once the format slows down, like once we get like a Lapis Cluster only format and we rotate
Yeah.
out like Wyvern and Regalia, this could probably be a lot better. But I think right now it's just not very playable in anything.
Also, I'm not sure how like relevant like 3 life is in Magic when you Lightning Helix someone, but like I know that the 600 life you get off of this in Force Will is pretty irrelevant. So
Yeah.
you might as well just read it as this card deals 600 damage to target player J Resonator, and for 2 mana,
We already have that like everywhere. It's definitely better
we
than its
have
counterparts,
Bombardment
but
for red.
yeah. Next up,
Curse the
Curse of the
Cube.
QB. God, this is another thing that I've just always wanted in Force of Will, and it's just that
And then you got it, and it was bad.
literally, yeah, like oh my god, in the first Alice World format, like I just wanted to be able to kill all of their Gwybers forever because that deck played super loose. Its only win conditions were like 4 Gwyber, 4 Adam Brawley, and a Pumpkin Witch to like enable them. But as soon as you like kill all 4 Gwybers, that deck just falls apart. And now it doesn't matter because even if you are able to somehow have enough mana to kill all of current Feasting's Gwybers, they'll just drag you and like hook you like Hardcat. They play so many threats now. Um, I mean, this thing is like basically a glorified Wall of Wind where you just need to pay more mana than your opponent to really like shut them down.
Well, I mean, the thing is, so the reason that this card is printed and is, I personally wouldn't play it, but I wouldn't exactly call someone awful for playing it, is because if I'm playing Fox and you're not playing Fox, then I have a shit ton more mana than you do.
Yeah, it's not. But like, what card do
But
you really care about shutting down?
the
I don't
only
know.
answer is against Soul, but I feel like with Manticore, you already have a good Soul matchup.
Yeah,
You definitely don't need this. Like, instead of waiting for you to play your Ancient Magic to do this, I'll just Manticore it.
it makes sense. I mean, I think this card could suit play. It'll definitely blow out in some scenarios.
I don't think you main deck this card.
I just don't know
I'm
what you side it against. Like, it's such a weird
exactly
card.
like you want to side it against Soul, but like you already beat Soul.
Like,
You don't sideboard for your good
it
matchups.
just seems really situational because, like, when it hits, and you're just gonna like win the game on the spot for resolving this card on the proper card. But it's just like it doesn't seem
Very
like
nuisance.
a necessary win condition. Like, you can just deal with all of the cards. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just not super thrilled about it. But I think time will tell. But yeah.
yeah. We get on to Deceptive Dream.
When this
Um,
card enters your field, this card is put in. Oh, that's cute.
Long story short, I like this card. This card's not good.
I agree. Yeah, that's pretty much the best way to put it.
Yeah. um, this card's not good, and I don't like this card. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm noticing a trend where any card that I see that I think, why did they print this card's garbage? It's just a common, which is like what should happen in card games. Like commons should be bad.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like not relevant at all, and it
yeah,
costs 3 mana for a resonator, which is bad.
yeah. Um, this card, I don't know. This card got spoiled, and people freaked the fuck out about it, and I never understood why, and I still don't
I don't
understand why.
understand why.
Card's fucking booty cheeks.
It's
Life
not a
gain is
common.
irrelevant. We're moving on. Have I seen this card before? I have seen this card before. Um,
What?
this is the other thing you hold open 4 mana for.
I'm trying to
Uh,
understand this. Like, I mean, I understand it, but like, why did they feel the need to print this? Like, what is, like, who was in the design team
if
was
you
like,
ever
guys, I
seal
had
of
this
wind, they're like,
really
all
cool
right.
idea for an ability
They're
that's
like, yeah.
actually
So I really
completely
want to like,
irrelevant.
I want to seal of wind and light something, and then I want to like not pay seal mana to play a 4 drop that's not statted as a 4 drop.
So, a 2 mana 7/8 with quick cast still sounds bad. Like, if you just removed the green white from this card and you just removed all the text except for quick cast and flying and 7/8, it would be extremely powerful in like the power
That would
curve
be the
of
best two
Force.
drop in the game.
It would be, and it would still be unplayable. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, it would, like, there's no room for it in the game right now. I feel
Yeah.
it just doesn't. It doesn't like. Maybe this gets better in the future. I don't think it does. It's just like it's such an awkward niche that it feels like even as a 7/8, it's just
Oh, you can pay it for
Yeah.
3 mana if you wall, or you can play it for 2 mana if you wall of win something too.
Yeah,
Oh,
like Force Will is just so removal based that playing a bigger 2 drop than your opponent's 2 drop is just not how you actually win games.
yeah. Ever since Bear
It never
Magic came
has
out,
been. Even before then, because before we had like Necromancy and like my 2 drop was a
whoa,
10/10. What are you
Bahamut
gonna do about
format,
it?
playing bigger resonators mattered.
Barely. You always turn them sideways, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, to kill your Cthulhu's.
Okay. Alright, Fairy
um,
Overcurrents.
so this is a red-white Bird of Paradise
Yeah.
with 200 more defense, and is red-white instead of green.
Which sounds a lot better, but it's still just not relevant, I
Yeah,
think.
once as we've said before, like red-white is probably the two worst colors in Force Will.
I wish this
And
was like red
if you had
blue
managed
or
to
red
play a
green.
red-white deck, I don't think this is the. It's a fairy. What the fuck?
Oh, that's almost neat, I guess.
Almost relevant.
Yeah, man. Turn 3 Vivian, turn 4 Fairy, turn 5 Fairy, 1 drop. Boom. You
Yeah.
just dumpstering. It's
Um,
cute, but it's nothing like super impactful.
Nothing to write home about. So
Yeah.
on to Faria's summoning.
Ooh, love this card.
Yeah, definitely love this card. Still haven't found a use for it, but I'm sure I will someday.
I'm confident that I will play this as at least a one of in Feasting.
I didn't even realize this card had quick cast.
Yeah, like it's super. This is like I'm like all right, 1 mana, quick cast, search my deck and put it. Okay, like this is yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. Like just the fact like you probably don't torrent it too often. Like you can leave open seal mana or just like be late game in Feasting and then just like 2 mana search your deck for a hook. Like that's really good.
yeah.
Or just like, oh, early game I'm kind of bricking. Let me just like pay 1 mana or pay 2 mana, play this. Like turn 2, Regalia, play this, search my deck for another 1 drop, play that 1 drop, Adam Brawley. I'm no longer bricking. My hand is like it just feels really good. Feasting's Monocle, so this comes out with the Feasting Resonator. Pretty relevant, and it's just interesting. I like that it doesn't
Not
cost
good
mana
though.
to bestow.
Yeah,
I would never feel good about hard casting this card. Is the biggest problem.
yeah.
I would only want to bring it out with other Feasting. But there's a green white card that came out that I want to talk about later, and it's about Feasting's Monocle. But we'll get there.
That was I figure we'll get there. Ghost of Ataraxia. This is another card that I like that isn't good.
Yeah, it's the same problem with the Jack and the Beanstalk. Like, it's so difficult to play a Resonator without Swiftness and have it survive long enough. Like, your opponent gets to see it coming as this big, scary, I'm about to lose 2 cards kind of thing.
And
It's
like
just
this one's
not.
bowable.
Yeah, it's so tiny. 2 mana, like this, no, it's not good, unfortunately.
So we're on to the rulers. What the fuck?
No, I think it's just the green white one,
Oh, okay.
or I don't know, in the middle.
Yeah, there's still. Oh my god, there's still so much of the set to go.
Yeah, it's almost, we're getting there. Um, so green white energize, discard a bad card, draw another bad card. Okay, that's my biggest problem, right? Is that you have to discard a card to like you have to play inheritance cards to like do this. It's none of the inheritance cards are good.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's 2 mana. Oh, it's 3 mana to deactivate. Jesus,
Yeah,
that's
but you
even
get a
worse.
stone.
Okay, and then each
Your first
turn you
inheritance
may do
ability is
bad
free.
things, and then
Your
once per
Godsart is
game.
yeah 0. I get barrier,
Oh my
which you
god.
can't do to Moonbeam, so it's irrelevant.
It's
That's
just
the only
bad.
way people kill G rulers.
Yeah, it's like nothing to talk about this card. Like the inheritance cards are so bad that even playing them for 0 mana still feels bad.
Yeah.
This card is this is probably the best card in the set in my opinion, strictly because
That's
of
probably
Lilius.
true.
Like Jesus Lord. Yeah, this card like enables Lilius to exist. Like it would be very hard for Lilius to function if we didn't have Griffin, and we
Yeah, so
do. So it's
essentially, when we saw Amit, we were like, all right, Lilius is kind of neat. We need to see the other and the other Chimeras. Then Manticore came out, and we were like, all right, so this is probably like this weird like late game control deck. And then Griffin came out, and we're like, oh, this is a turbo deck.
yeah, like turn 1 you're like play a guy. Turn 2 you're like play another guy maybe. Turn 3 you're like oh
Well,
no,
the thing
turn 2
is,
is
like,
blessing,
if
right?
you open Killing Stone, a black 1 drop and a green 1 drop, you flip turn 2.
And then you just flip into Griffin. Now you're at
Yeah,
3 stones. You have 2 more, and these don't even come in rested.
yeah. So if you summon Griffin the turn that you summon Lilius, you get back the stone that you didn't get because you J activated.
What do you mean you get it back? Oh, what?
Like it doesn't J activating doesn't slow you down if you summon Griffin the turn you J activate. Because you
Oh,
still
gotcha.
net one stone, so like instead of
Right.
calling a stone, you J activated, but like you still get that stone.
Makes sense. And then like then it goes back to your turn. You call a stone. Like I guess you kind
Summon
of
another
really
Griffin.
hope you have to like blessing I guess at that point to like get your killing stone. But it
I don't
starts.
know. You play 4 killing stone. It's not unreasonable to see 2 in your first 4 stones.
That's not unreasonable. Yeah, that's fair. And then yeah, you just start chaining guys together. It just like getting like the fact that you get stones instead of constantly having to slow yourself down to get out big guys is just it's really strong.
Yeah.
Makes the whole thing. Crucible Lesta, Magic Stone Researcher. This card has a fucking wall of text, but basically, I don't think it's good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Most like the magic stones you control gain barrier is relevant, and then everything else is more or less irrelevant.
I mean, being
Um,
bigger is kind of nice.
eh.
It's kind
I
of
mean,
nice.
he's
Like, it's not.
understated, so like he has to.
Yeah, and then, like, being able to search for your killing stones more consistently is okay, but it's
The
also, like, a
problem
little
is that like
spooky.
unless you're playing Horn, you're just sacking off stones
Yeah.
forever.
Which I mean, like it's good though because you can like sack off those stones and then they're gone forever. So then like your entire stone library becomes tap, put a killing stone back, tap, call killing stone, tap, put a killing stone back, tap, call killing stone. Like it's just an infinite. You will always have killing stone in your deck. So it's
Um,
okay, but
yeah. Secret technique. I guess this card. I don't know why people tell me this card would be good in Magic. Like I know that Magic has man lands, but like I don't think they have spells that turn your dudes into lands. Like I
yes.
know
So people freaked
Deity
out
does
about
that,
this and
but
was like, "Oh wow, you get mana lands now, it's gonna be great." But it's literally just like if this card was just like 2 mana, summon a 10/10 with swiftness, it dies at the end of the turn. It would like that would be better, and it would still not be good. The only thing that's relevant about this card is that you can play it with BFA Arla and get off infinite attacks, but it's still like there's just so many things that interact with that. I feel like as soon
yeah,
as like if I
there's a
just
lot
block
of
you with a
problems with that.
Gwyber,
Number one being that you're playing BFA Arla, so you don't have a ruler for the first few turns of the game.
yeah, and as soon as I see your BFA Arla, I just like leave out a Gwyber and I don't ever tap it, and I just leave it as my permanent Goose Ballista blocker. And if you ever try and attack with it, I just block you, and like you just like you have to like deal with that and deal with like if I bear magic it, like you still get infinite attacks, but like I just have to chump block you with like 2 little dudes and then you die. Like as long as I have enough blockers to be able to kill your 10/10 of defense, then you're just gonna lose the game. And because you're BFA Arla, you're already like on the clock against Feetsing to even be able to like get to a point where you're not just dying before you do anything. You like
Yeah, and like I don't know what the rest of
just
your deck looks like. Are you playing like the other like cards that were made to go with the BFA Arla thing? Like, are you playing dudes that care about untapping stones as they attack?
I don't know. I think it's like a
I don't know
cool
what your early turns
infinite,
look like. It's
but it's
like,
just like no.
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan, and like as a card, like in general, like just something is that strong either outside of the infinite.
Um, this might be the worst card in the set.
Nope. I'm still going with the 3 drop 7/7.
I definitely say this is bottom 5.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Next, this
Um,
card enters your field. Put a
4/4. So this is a 5/5 that summons a 4/4. So you get 9/9 worth of dudes
and you get
for
two
3
blue
mana.
blancks. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I'm not mad at this card. I just think that the entire like fantasy resonator archetype is a little bit underpowered right now compared to what else we have.
Especially when you look at what blue black has been in previous metas.
Yeah,
It is not a token spamming thing.
yeah. Like it's just this guy is 1 mana less, but when he dies, you get the token, which is okay.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like the tokens just seem unusable, and like the fact that like it's just so much better, like in Feasting, to get free tokens and then just use them as a card advantage engine than to like pretend that since these tokens are bigger, they're more relevant. Like no, they're 400, 400. They're dying to Artemis Bow every single time. Like they're just not even cards.
Yeah, there's like pretty much nothing that kills a 1/1 that doesn't kill a 4/4 except for like Tama,
Yeah.
which is you usually don't use to kill 1/1s anyway.
So next up we have Invading Demon of Water, Valentina. Valentina has taken over Priscia
Priscia?
again.
Yeah.
Still,
Again.
I don't know.
I don't know. She's like
Yeah.
royalty now.
So her abilities are kind of cool. It really helps you enable separation of body and soul very
Yeah.
easily. Like you can't just only cast separation, but like you can like scorn separation, like
Yeah.
unseen pressure separate. Like it's very
And like it's kind of nice that in your early turns you get to like um you get to like scorn and still pick off tokens.
mhm.
Or like turn 1 when you unseen pressure the Guinevere, like you still get to kill the token as well.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff with that, but I'm not convinced that it's better than Mikage. Is my problem.
No. Um, and then the J ruler side, you can pay 1 less to pay Water Darkness cards, which only applies to cards that are Water and Darkness.
Which is yeah,
Um,
I don't think I ever J-activate this ruler. It just like maybe I do just to get a 10/10 for 3 mana, but
yeah, but even then, it's like there are so few blue black cards that you care about playing that also have a colorless cost attached to them.
yeah.
And then like banish 2, choose like draw a card, straight target resonator.
Like
Like,
it's cute that like we have
it
these
fits
token
into the
guys.
fantasy theme, but like I don't think this is a deck.
Yeah, you're basically playing a blue-black control deck, and this is like a decent ruler for that because you get the separation of body and soul, and you're just like you have like a little bit of extra removal, but it just feels like a strictly worse Mikage, in my opinion. It doesn't lose to shackles like Mikage does, but I don't, maybe you like start as Mikage because that's a good card, and then like you side into this to beat shackles, and then you like side out your Demon Flames for separations, and you're still kind of doing the same thing. I could see
Yeah.
that being a strategy, but I don't think you ever made this ruler or really want to play this ruler. You just don't want to lose to shackles.
Joan d'Arc comes back as a resonator that costs 2 white and 2 red mana.
So you can cheat this in with the 4-drop,
Yeah,
the cheat in a 4-drop white resonator.
which like makes the swiftness largely irrelevant since you're probably doing that on someone else's turn.
Yeah, I mean you can do it in your untap at least,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I mean like I'm just trying to like think of a
it's still
way.
just a big guy that
Yeah,
doesn't do anything but be a big guy.
the big
Doesn't
like
fly, doesn't have pierce.
it's kind of like Prisia almost, where it has like all these texts, but like 1 mana for an extra 300 attack just isn't really worth it.
Yeah, especially when this doesn't do anything when it dies.
You just want to pay as little mana as possible to do things, and this 4 mana is just too much. So, oh, here we go, Kaguya. So,
Right.
Kaguya and Researcher, Forcible loves printing these bullshit untap this resonator. Um, and I think that this card is really cool because with the Feasting Monocle, right? So you play this card on turn 3, right? And somehow it survives. So turn 4, you immediately inheritance the Feasting onto this card, and now it's a 13-15. No, 13-14. So you attack for 13. Boom, they take 13. Then you bestow the monocle, untap it. Boom, hit them for 13. Now you only need to deal 1400 damage. So if you have literally any bestow, like that you play, like Pandora's Box of Hope, Mark of Hope, whatever. So your turn one is play that card, and then boom, just bestow it OTK, just on turn 4. And that seems really fun. Seems terrible, but that was like my first idea when I was thinking of like this card and like Feasting. It's like play tree so that like they can never just aggro you out, and then turn one you play Mark of Hope, and then turn 2 you play like Wind Secluded Refuge so you can protect this card when you get to it on turn 4. Then turn 3 you play this card, they can't kill it because you still have the refuge, and then turn 4 it's bestow Feasting, attack monocle, attack bestow Mark of Hope, attack, you win the game. Ta-da.
So I
That's
was like vaguely listening, and I heard you say tree.
yeah, no,
Tree's unplayable.
stop it.
Tree's straight up unplayable this format,
Why?
and for the rest of the set.
Why?
Because Killing Stone says when this card goes to the graveyard, your opponent loses 100 life.
Oh god,
Um, so if you ever trigger Tree, you just have to kill a Killing Stone, and then they lose the game.
that's hilarious. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no, so that was my beautiful idea. I don't think that it's relevant to my story because I think that Lilius isn't going to aggro me out
Oh yes, it
to
is. It's on
stop
its
this.
12-12 flyers like turn
Oh,
2.
turn 4, I'm killing you. Get out of here. But yeah, no, that's my story, and it's not good. So don't play that.
Let's say, how do you deal with Heavenly Gust?
All right, so Kaguya's Moonbeam Butterfly. Search your
Um,
deck. So this is like bad.
I like this card.
I don't.
If you were going to play like the Feasting and the Monocle thing, and you're playing like some kind of green white ramp deck,
Okay,
definitely
so
think you play this card.
let's just real quick compare this card to the other green white card. So this
Okay,
says
what a green white card.
the one that says search your deck for target resonator and put it into your hand.
Oh yeah,
Right. So this
yeah.
card says pay green white X and then search your deck for a resonator and put it into the field.
Yeah.
Or so, okay, so I'm trying to like explain the math here and I'm doing a very poor job of it.
But essentially, what
Basically,
you're saying is that if you torrent for the other card, it'll just be the same amount of mana
yes.
as this card.
And the other card's instant speed, so I kind of like it better.
That's understandable.
That is my logic. I guess the only upside would be like if you cast this card and you pay like 3 mana or 2 mana, they don't know what you're grabbing, so you have to counter it before it resolves.
So, one of the things that I kind of like is you can grab additions out of your deck, which doesn't seem super relevant, but for 3 mana, you get Barrier Seal out of your deck.
That's not terrible actually. I kind of get behind that. You can also get things off color. So like if you're playing Feathsing, which can be kind
And
of
like you
hard to
can
like
grab
play.
Captain Hook is
Yeah,
one of my big things.
yeah, but for like
Which
what
like you
six
might not
mana?
always have like 2 blue mana for.
Yeah, you will always have 2 blue mana in the
You were playing
literally,
a mono
literally.
green white Featsing ramp deck
So yeah, I
with
like
no
this card. I'm
quibers.
not sure if I like it more than the other green white search card, but it's definitely a toss up.
Yeah,
Lilius is our next card. This card is fucking busted. This is my
yeah,
most like hyped card of the set. I think like
yeah,
he's Griffin being spoiled like completely made this card like completely playable for me.
yeah,
I don't even know like what to talk about. We've kind of talked about it a couple times. I just think that he's really powerful and definitely something to look out for.
yeah. Just so like obviously Force Will should have learned their lesson with flipping for 0, and then like this card can't even be destroyed, so you can't Moonbeam it. And I found out the reason for that. This card was initially designed to be a ruler with no J ruler side, um, which is why it can't be destroyed. But
Good
thank God
lord,
they fixed that and made you flip this card.
that would Jesus Christmas. That I'm glad.
They do testing.
Thank the oh God, I'm just imagining there would. Okay, honestly, I might prefer that just because you could shackle it. But
So
then that
anyway,
would feel
Lilith
I would
Petals
feel
is
worse about being a Lilius player. I'm kind of fine. I'm happy with what they did because it,
yeah,
it makes it harder to deal with and it also makes it a little bit more balanced.
yeah. So Lilith Petals Assistant.
I love this card. I love this card.
I love this card.
Okay,
This is a
I'm
good
not
card.
I'm not crazy. Like it's again we talk about 3 mana like it's a 3 mana 5/5 Ryan AJ. How could you possibly like this card? It's just the fact that it brings out a dude. And when you bring out a dude, you just get to turn that dude into like a 12/12 or a 15/15
Yeah,
that like has broken ass abilities. So this is basically a 3 mana 15/15 that kills a guy and gains you life. Or it's a 3 mana 9/9 that rips a card out of your opponent's hand. Like there's just it's just instantly enables the fox, which is why I like
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Lumia is the worst roller. Actually, no, this isn't the worst roller inside.
Yeah, I don't like this card at all. I know some people are pretty happy about it. So God, I was so
The
hyped and
pro.
then I
All
read
right,
the
so
card.
the problem I have with this, and this is kind of what I've been explaining to people as, so the whole red white gimmick of blinking things out.
Mhm.
Pretty much the only thing worth blinking out is Captain Hook, which means you'd be red white blue. But if you're not playing green, then good luck getting to Captain Hook mana before you lose the game.
Yeah, pretty much anything that can right now is playing Captain Hook just to like punish people for playing special stones. Like no color is good enough to be a mono color, basically. You just can't like you can't play a monocolor deck and then compete with a 5 color deck. So Captain Hook is always going to be good in the current format, unless they just decide to make one color insanely broken for some reason, which I hope they don't do. And since they're printing dual colored cards, it's just getting even worse. So Captain Hook is getting better and better. And you're just going to take way too long to get to enough mana to be able to cast this card. And the gimmick of like remove target rest resonator you control, the biggest problem I have with this is that Feathsing is like generating counters or tokens for free. Um, and this is doing things for less than free. The fact that you have to tap something to be able to like blink in and out,
All right, we get it. It's slow. Move
it's
on.
just hard to do that. Yeah.
Lumia's Judgment. I don't think this card is particularly good because it's not that. So, like, obviously, you play a lot of cards in Force Will for not a lot of mana.
Right.
The difference is that these cards cost a lot of mana, and then you pay them for very little mana. So this would be like 7 mana to wipe out Gwybers.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm paying 1 mana for the Gwyber. Even like Reezes and Melders, I pay for 2 mana. Don't even get me started on the Manticore or the Chimeras. Like,
Yeah. The thing is, like, it kills all Regalia for 2 mana, which is cool. It kills all one jumps for 3 mana, which is kind of cool. But red white is like the worst color combination right now.
yeah,
You just don't have a lot of good cards there. And
it's
then
really weird because like red white got some of the best cards in the set, and then it's just still a really awful color combination.
yeah, so if you play this card for 2 mana to like Heavenly Gust, that like you have to kill your own Regalia as well. And I feel like red white has to be playing Regalia because they have to be playing another color besides red white, or else your deck is just bad.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant to put this card in red white because that's the most likely color combination to be playing Ruler's Memoria.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my take on this card. And like AJ said, it's just like in order to remove Adam Brawley's or Gwybers or Captain Hooks that come down on turn 3, you need to pay more mana than you ever could. So
Magic Rebound.
uh,
I don't like this card.
yeah.
The problem with this card is that it says single target, so if you Captain Hook target 2 of my stones, I can't redirect it.
That would make this card so playable. In a
Yeah.
heartbeat, it would make this card be playable.
But it doesn't do that.
Wait, are you sure?
Yes. Because it says target spell or ability with a single target.
Yeah, so can't I redirect your Captain Hook targeting my 2 stones onto a single one of your stones?
No. The card that you are redirecting can only target a single target.
Well, that's bad. Okay. Glad I learned. Yeah, there's just like nothing that I want to redirect except for like removal. And blue black isn't really a color that has to worry about removal because they're like you just don't play that many resonators. And you already
Yeah.
have enough removal that is very easy for you to kill your opponent's creatures anyway, and you don't need to like play your own guy, bait them into removing it, and then rebound it onto their guy. It's just like the least efficient way to go about it. So I don't think this card sees play.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this card. Okay, I
this
lied.
card-
This card. This card is the single hands down worst card in the entire set. I completely forgot this card existed because it's just that bad. For those of you who need me to explain it, because apparently some people have, this is 3 mana to draw 2 at instant speed, and
That's pretty much all
so
it does.
unimpactful. Like the gain 100 and the deal 100 are literally irrelevant. Like unless you're playing a stupid, like I really want to put expensive guys on top of my deck and then burn them with the red. Like
My
this,
favorite part
God,
is
no,
that
there's nothing.
this card is worse than 3 mana draw 2.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because one,
That's
you
so
have to have like
infuriatingly bad.
if you're playing this on turn 3, then like you have to have played a light 1-drop and like a red 2-drop or something on your first 2 turns. But even then, it says show me 2 cards and then draw them.
Yeah, it's God.
So like I get information out of this.
It's really bad. Really, really bad. Never play this in any format. Like this card should draw you like 4 cards, in my opinion, and it still probably would be bad.
Messenger of Willis Petal. I like that this card exists. I don't think I play it in my Lilith Petal deck though.
I don't know. I think you might. I think maybe not 4, but like I do think that Lilith plays last drop, just because I don't know. It seems like you would play that. Just because I don't know. Red Riding Hood seems like a card you would play, and I would love to last drop back Red Riding Hoods. It just seems correct, and then playing this card too seems like it would be good just to make
So
sure that you're getting your shit back.
The one thing that I will tell the community is when I saw Lilith Petal, I immediately thought last drop toolbox deck, and now after a week of testing, I play 0 last drop.
Really?
Is what I will tell you, because you know how you want to last drop Riding Hood?
Yeah.
Turns out that's the only thing you want to last drop.
Oh, that's
Everything else just feels awful to last drop.
that's unfortunate. Okay.
So it's just not worth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not super sold.
But like stacking your stone deck doesn't matter that much because 1, you're playing 4 Killing Stone, which means you're going to naturally rip them at some point anyway. 2, Blessing is just better.
Yeah. I don't know. If I was playing last drop, I might want to play a couple copies of this guy, but I can see not
Probably.
playing it either, to be honest.
Yeah. Mooch Dart. Alright, so I don't understand why anybody ever thought this card was good. And people would ask me what I would think of this card, and I was like, why aren't you asking me about Deceptive Dream? Because that's the 4-cost blue-black card that matters. And this one's just awful in like every way.
Yeah, it just costs a lot of mana and doesn't do a lot. So
It's like it just like buffs the tokens, but like we already established that's not good. So on to another bad card.
I didn't see this yet.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, I saw it like 2 days ago and I forgot about it already. So mana sink in Force of Will is not something that we're really hurting for right now.
Yeah.
That's like the basically the reason this card isn't gonna see.
The other thing is it has to be a resonator that you remove.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
Plus, like if you play this on turn 3, you're gonna get creamed by Gwyver.
Yeah, it's just too slow. Like if you are playing enough resonators for this to be relevant, then you're just like not playing enough removal to be able to deal with the actual relevant decks in the format.
And then like you're just constantly like paying 2 mana for a 4/4, which is not threatening.
Ugh, yeah. Next up,
Um,
whoa, this card is 3 mana for a 2/2. That's pretty bad.
that means it must have a baller ass ability. Oh wait, no, it doesn't.
So when this card enters your field, so it never
It
it
never
never
generates
whiffs,
any advantage.
I guess. No,
Yeah.
it does. Plus ones. Opponent discards a
Oh
card.
yeah, that's true.
You still have a guy. It's just like worse than anything else I would want to have them do to discard. Like I would rather just play Lapis Storm than this. But
Yep.
here are the things
Um,
that. Oh, this is like another blink thing. I don't think
yeah,
any of the
it's
blink
like
cards are good right now.
it's like the epitome of the red white archetype, but
Yeah,
it's just
it's
not
just
good.
also gimmicky.
Yeah.
Plot of Water and Darkness. This is the blue black one. I don't like this one that much.
The one thing I did want to touch on for Nerlothotep though, because it does have the second Red Awakening ability of play a lighter fire chant with total cost 3 or less.
Yeah,
There aren't any good lighter fire chants that cost 3 or less.
that's pretty much correct. Basically,
Um,
like if you were to just play your turn 3 fire or light chant instead of playing this card, this is basically a 0 mana 7/7.
yeah,
If you do
people.
that,
I mean, I'm
which
sure that
isn't
people will argue
that
with me
good.
about the ability to play the white card with Remnant that we saw that blows up something that isn't a ruler
Oh
or Magic
God,
Stone,
no, it's not
um,
good.
and it's just not good.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Cheating in your like, I don't even think Flame King Shout was ever good. People are definitely going to play this into Flame King Shout into something, and that's just your entire hand for nothing.
Yeah, it's too much. Too much
Plot of
mana.
Water and Darkness. So this is pretty much just a worse
Endless night.
Endless Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you get the Awakening on it, like
The
even if this
Awakening.
card or the dual, whatever you want to call, I don't know what you want to call this,
Mm-hmm.
but
I think they're called
basically,
modal spells, is what I've heard.
all right. So even if you got both modes,
Mm-hmm.
basically, I don't think this card should be a modal spell. I think it should just do those two things, and then I still don't think you play this over Endless Night.
I think I would play it over Endless Night if that was the case. I
I
really
think
like.
Endless Night is too good against Feetsing to play this over that.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I think there is some use for the little dorky 4/4s, but like with the Valentina Resonator or the Ruler, like having dudes and being able to attribute them to draw cards is a fun thing that I would like to do ever. But it's just
Yeah.
way too hard to generate tokens, so I
I
don't.
think this is like the only blue black spell that you care about paying one less if you're Valentina, but
Yeah. Next
all
up,
that in reach. But
Priest of Divine Protection. Yeah, it's
this is
just
another
another.
card that's like this is probably the best red white card. And it's just red white, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. 3 mana. It's just really hard to like. So Force of Will, just love like. There's so many degenerate things right now, and this card is fair and balanced, and you can't play fair and balanced cards in a degenerate format. So that's why red
Yeah.
white is like the weakest because it's very very fair and balanced in terms of a card game, and nothing else is. So
Pyrocortetic being. Basically, I don't think this card's good.
I don't either right now. Um, and again, it's just because like it's really hard to get enough things in the graveyard for this to be relevant. The
Yeah.
format's just too fast. Like
Even if
you're
I
gonna
play
be winning
like
the game before you get to like get this guy big enough to actually like win the game with it. You know?
so, like if you play one chant turn 1, 2 turn 2, and 3 turn 3, then you have 6 chance to engrave, and on turn 4 you can play this guy with swiftness and flying. He's only a 12/12.
Yeah, that's pretty relevant. Well, but if you're ancient magic, you get to play more than that, so you're a liar.
So you're 16/16.
Yeah, it's just like you're gonna be like the win condition for that deck is burn. Like if you're playing the Invitation Disaster and like the Banish a Stone, deal 800 like that. There's a lot of burn available in the deck, so getting this guy to be a 10/10 for that last bit of damage is kind of relevant. But it's just like I feel like you're just gonna burn them out anyway. You don't need to like have it on a resonator, which is inherently more vulnerable than just straight direct burn damage. Rune of Soul.
This
I
card's
don't
good.
know how I feel about this card.
This card's good because it's an ancient magic. Um,
Yeah.
and I think. I mean, I'm not gonna give away what I think you should put in a soul deck.
So
Um,
my problem when I was building a Soul deck and I was trying to like figure out how many of this card to play is I was like, man, I kind of just want to play like 4 Rising and then like instead of playing like one copy of this card, I'll just like increase my copies of the ancient magics that I would want to search with this, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to pay mana to have to search this out, because like on turn 4 I want to play Rising, or I want to like flip turn 4 and then like turn 5 Invitation with mana and counters, and then turn 6 do it again and win the game. Like, it just never felt like I wanted to waste mana to search my deck, which is why I had a problem like finding room for this in the deck. But I
Yeah.
do think it's good. Like, I might just be deck building wrong. I didn't like get to test it or anything, but that was
Yeah.
just like the experience that I had.
Soul is definitely a lot harder to build than I thought it would be.
So yeah, possibly playable. Just not really sure. I think it'll end up being good.
Yeah. Runic Commander Demon area. This is actually a really good demon. In that like it puts mana counters on your J Ruler, and then the condition to return it to the hand
It's free.
is easily the best one out of the three. Because Mars has to return to your hand at end of turn. The fucking other guy has to pay 2 mana, and like if I just like do something to it and then you return it to hand and then like I do something else to it, you get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Or if like you go to return it to your hand, then I just anomaly it. But like this guy, when you play a chant, you have the option to return him to your hand, which is great.
Yeah.
And with like ancient, like if you just play him and then like you use that counter to like play the Heartfelt Fire, then like you can return him to your hand to avoid removal, and like you didn't pay any mana.
It's pretty nice. You paid 2 to play it in the first place, but I don't really agree with what you're saying. I don't think that playing it was ever going to be super relevant, just because I think that Soul is really consistent compared to the last 2 Ancient Magic rulers, and like your
Yeah.
first couple turns is just gonna be nice and smooth most of the time, and you're
I mean,
just
like
gonna.
if you don't have anything else to do turn 2, like you could play this demon and not really have to worry about it dying,
That's
whereas
fair.
you would with Mars and Mercurius's.
That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, just having him as an enabler for Soul is the best part.
Yeah.
Sacred Komainu.
This card's awful.
Yep. I don't even know why like the first line of this card is printed, to be honest. Just to, like,
It's so that you can like throw it on the board, and then when you flip your fucking inheritance guy, you can get this back in your hand to do inherit things.
so after I pay 5 mana to get this guy on the board,
Yeah.
I can just put it back so I can shut the hell up. This is terrible. Oh wait! I might be retarded.
Why?
You can discard for free and then get 1,000 on your J Ruler.
Yeah.
Which I just wish it was optional to put it back in your hand. Then it would still be awful, but
I did not realize it was not optional.
yeah, that's like why it's terrible. So this is the most relevant inheritance card in my opinion, outside of
This
things.
is the best inheritance card probably.
Just because you draw a card, so it's like actually something you can do. But again,
and like even if you play it, you draw a card, but it's understated, so don't play it.
3 mana, never playing that shit.
Really bad.
Soul is next. Soul's
We've
busted.
pretty much talked about Soul as much as we can.
Yeah, I like Soul a lot.
Me too.
Him and Lilius, my favorite.
Steam Explosion. So this card is, in my opinion, not something you play over Invitation to Disaster.
I think you play both. Fuck you.
I mean, I definitely think you play both, but I don't think you like cut Invitation to play this card.
I think
if you play this Invitation and Rising, you might just find yourself loaded up on too many win conditions and become really inconsistent.
I think that you can side this card against something. I don't know
so if you're playing Black White Zero, then I just play this with Volga.
Right.
And because you're like anything that can't interact with Volga, you side this in against.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking of like what's actually good that doesn't interact with Volga, and I can't think of anything. So
me neither.
That's my problem. But yeah, I mean, like the fact that you can just shoot. How much mana is it to OTK with Volga?
12.
12. So if you play Volga and then you flip and then use all of your ancient counters to Steam Explosion your own Volga, you just deal 4,000 damage to your opponent's face and you win the game.
And then the Lightning Helix you in response and they gain 6. And they're fine.
Or they Bear Magic your Volga and they only take 2,000. But then you Invitation them like 6 turns later, so it's fine. Yeah. And like it's a little cool that like it's a little bit faster than Invitation, but a little bit more fragile at the same time. And again, you can just like wait a few turns and then like Rachel Smile and then play Volga and then kill them. Like there are some cool options. It's a little bit less combo pieces than the Rising combo, but also a little bit less. It takes longer to set up, so
yeah,
it's something to think about when deck building.
So Symphony of Fire and Water, I don't like this card. I think that Soul is not something that really puts dudes on board, so it's hard to get both modes.
I think that I don't know. Again, like I just did some limited deck building just to like get an idea, but I actually really like the Water Dork, the 1 mana put an ancient counter mana counter on your guy.
Okay.
Just because like I wanted to like have more counters to mess with because I was removing them for stuff like this card and the rune to search.
Yeah.
So I wanted like accelerators. Um, so if you like deactivate and you have like the 1 mana dork, then boom, this condition's fulfilled. Like it's not unreasonable. It's not really something you're aiming for. I don't know. I wasn't super thrilled with it overall, but like it is something that you might consider when you're deck building. So
Makes sense.
Mana Core is busted.
Mana Core I'm throwing in as easily, like, I think him and Griffin are just, like, easily the best cards in the set.
Yeah, I mean, like the
Uh,
thing is, like Amit's not like I don't even think Amit's the worst Griffin. He's just like the least versatile.
so my thing is, I kind of wanted to cut Amit down to, like, 1, because I never summoned him, but apparently in the Foxmere, it's an Amit war.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So,
I mean, Mana Core just like the first like line of this card when you just look at their hand, rip something out. That's super insane.
that's insane. And then he has a second line of text.
Where if you ever like they ever had 0 cards in hand, but gosh darn it, if that barrier seal wasn't giving you a problem, go ahead and take care of that real quick. Like
Yeah.
it's really good.
The other thing is, like, it makes Moonbeam pretty good in Fox against, like, decks that aren't Fox, because, like, if you're like, oh, I have Wind Secluded, I can finally flip, and then, like, Manticore comes out, pops your Wind Secluded, and then you get Moonbeamed.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's very difficult to keep up with Fox unless you're like consistently interacting with their stones and removing them
Yeah.
from the game and doing stuff like
Because,
that.
like, combo was fine, because it was like, oh, yeah, like, there are discard spells, but, like, there's no instant speed discard. So, like, I'm more or less fine as long as I can, like, get to my shit on my turn.
And now there's the speed
And then
discard.
Manticore came out. But the big thing with Manticore against Soul is, like, you don't even rip out the combo piece. When they go do Judgment of Soul, you summon Manticore and you take their demon. And now they have a 5/5 for 5 mana counters.
Yeah, that'll do it. All right, next up, Tuning of Wind and Darkness. This is actually my favorite of the modal spells.
Me too. But through testing, I just found this card to be pretty win more.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't possibly imagine why that would be. I guess you don't easily
There's
get
not a whole lot
four
of
magic
guys you
stones.
really care about getting out of your graveyard again, except
like-
for, like, Petal Assistant. But, like, at that point, you're already in a really good spot.
But this card is like literally 0 mana play target Tama from your graveyard, right?
Yeah, so this is a 0 mana draw card, but there are better things you can do with your deck slots, is essentially what it comes down to.
I mean, that makes sense. I don't think I would not play this card. I don't. It just
So
seems.
the thing is, like, the recovering 4 Magic Stones and, like, getting the +1 mana is largely irrelevant because you have so much mana to play with in the late game, and nothing in your deck really costs more than, like, 2 or 3 mana.
Right, but I mean, isn't that then worth it to like get back your Petal Assistant?
I mean, kind of, but, like, then you're paying 3 mana to pay a Petal Assistant when, like, there are other things you could probably be doing with your turn. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just like, if you're behind, this card's pretty bad. Like, if you don't get both modes,
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's so easy to get both modes because
it is.
you just you flip and then you have one of them, and then you
But
just
if
need to
you
play
can get
literally
both
any resident in
modes,
your deck.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's just what I've found through testing.
That's fair, yeah. I just like this card a lot. I think it's the easiest one to get both modes off, and also like the best one to do that with.
Yeah. Twin-headed dragon. So the problem with this card is that 1,000 damage is not enough to kill a Gwyber, which means it's not enough damage.
And then
Resting
tapping
guys.
So you can
is,
kill the
is
Atom
more
Brawler and
relevant.
tap down the Gwybers. Is that not enough time?
I
think it's. I just don't
not
like that
by
it's
turn
4 mana. I wish these were like. I wish you could rise. I mean, like it wouldn't make sense if you could rise into this and like do it, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't fit with the like what a soul deck wants to be doing. Is my opinion. But it's a really cool card. Otherwise.
Yeah.
If there was like a soul mid-range deck, then sure. But I think it's like completely combo oriented.
Yeah. And then we have Valentina's Reach.
Oh my god! I love Six's Revelation, but
easily top 5 cards in the set.
what?
I would say.
I think this card's aggressively mediocre.
Really?
Yeah, I'm completely underwhelmed. If this card was instant speed, my boner would be through the roof. But it's so sorcery speed, and that's so fucking painful to me.
Oh.
So I think its discard X ability is awful, mostly because it's just strictly worse than Lapis Storm. Like I would never think about using the discard ability. Like if I cared about the discard ability, I would just play Lapis Storm, which means that this is a draw X cards card. So it's a 4 mana 4C, which sounds awful, or it's like 5 mana. Like you have to be in such an awkward like late game scenario that in order to like get really any value out of this, that it just seems terrible. The only way I would see this being playable is in like the hard control mirrors, like the matchup where you're siding in the Charlotte Resonator, because then you can like rip your opponent's hand apart and then make their Charlotte Resonator vulnerable. But like I
Yeah,
wouldn't play this in anything else. I wouldn't main deck in anything. It just seems bad.
that's fair. Fuck you.
If it was instant speed,
Um,
in a heartbeat, but it's not. So I'm underwhelmed.
Wetlands of Magical Origin. This card's bad. Uh, because you're so for 2 mana, this card is basically a Magic Stone.
Yes.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yes.
Which means it's pretty much just not as good as Blessing.
Yes.
Except that like obviously like you can untap the stone, the turn it comes in, but like
It's more
what one
vulnerable.
drop do you care about playing that you play this on turn 2 and then like you can untap a stone and like what 1 drop are you so concerned about playing that you just play this over Blessing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you get multiple attacks with Crucible Estes technique.
I could just get infinite if all I had to do.
I guess it's kind of usable with any stone with an activated ability, but it's not really. So
Yeah.
you just play multiples of those stones.
Yeah.
Another bad inheritance card.
Yep.
I'm just gonna move on. Is this one
Uh,
worse? No, this one gives precision and it costs less mana. Not
yeah.
worse. All right, so now we're on to the magic stones. We've got
Yep.
white, red.
Yeah. So when you do Judgment of a Light Roller, recover this card, which is like weird to me because that doesn't seem to fit the red white archetype very well.
Yeah. I think it's really good if you're playing a red-white deck where you'd want to play what red-white dual stones, but I'm not convinced that a deck like that exists in any capacity.
Especially like what light ruler are you playing?
Like, yeah, if you want to play Lumia, you play this card, but you shouldn't
Yeah.
want to play Lumia is the issue.
I'm saying like if you were playing like knights or something, like what
Um,
ruler are you playing? It's probably not a light one.
yeah, I don't know.
Killing Stone, this card's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Lilius, and it's like, yeah, your opponent loses 100 life. Goodbye, tree. Okay, that's necessary.
Yeah, that's actually like that just puts this card over the top.
Yeah.
And that like it just how do I deal with tree? I just sack Killing Stone.
So Magic Stone of Vaporization.
I think this one's really good too for what it wants to do for the archetype. Like later in the game, if you're just not doing a whole lot with your turn, you can just ramp up mana counters again.
Mm-hmm. Lets you turn 2 mana on one turn into 1 mana on a later turn, which is just having a powerful swing turn and doing a lot of things at once is just really what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Perseus Memoria, because of the wording, as far as I can tell, you can't tap this card before you flip to get a +2/+2.
I think you can.
I don't remember if the Regalia say
Yeah, it says
if
as
or
long as your day ruler is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I
I mean,
don't
even
think it's ever relevant because
yeah, I
I
don't
think
think
the
that
stone
matters
is bad, and I think
because that's the worst ruler in the set.
Yeah.
And then this it does what the new blue-black archetype wants to do, but is pretty bad
Yeah.
otherwise.
I don't know why they went that direction for the blue black archetype. Just like this is such a control color, and it just
I mean,
feels.
maybe we'll get more support for it next set that like interacts with the control stuff,
It has to
but
be some really weird support, in my opinion.
yeah,
It doesn't feel correct playing that kind of stuff in those colors.
yeah.
And that is it. We have done it.
The cool thing about these basic stones is that they finally got a green stone that has like the fire and gold rings. So I think we're only missing white.
I think that
And
the
then
best one here is the redstone, though.
every basic stone will have the
It's a
fire.
salamander.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the fire stone
Sorry.
or the fucking
Yeah, it's got
fire
the, got
looking
the,
stone.
got the border thing.
Once we have white, then we'll have all of them.
That's cool. All right, that's it. We did it. Anything else you want to say about the set, AJ, before we go ahead and wrap this up?
No, I think we've said anything. You can always message me or Ryan on Facebook if you have questions or you want to tell us that we're wrong, and then we'll tell you that you're wrong, and we can get into a huge argument about it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna put this on Reddit where I like to have discussions. And if you do message me on Facebook, please add me as a friend because I've been having a very hard time accessing like the message requests on my phone, and I've been missing some things until like a week later. So yeah, just add me as a friend on Facebook if you like me. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a doozy, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.